Welcome to World Shakers. I'm Tim Storey. You know, this is kind of a casual show, but with a world shaker today that she's casual, she's creative, she's fashionable, and you're doing gigantic things. My good friend, the Cayla Kraft.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. And so, Cayla, tell me about your look. You know, it seems that so many people, when I tell them about you, yes, they are like bragging about, oh my gosh, she's got a way about her. So it's kind of interesting because you do what you do, but you're also getting a lot of following for how you look, who's your stylist, who's doing your hair, who's doing your makeup. When did you start becoming that person that loved fashion so much?
Oh my gosh. I would say in the last couple of years, just like being around people all the time, I know that like what I put on the outside is just a direct reflection of what I feel about myself on the inside.
Yes.
And I'm a very creative person. And so I like to that's why I like the glam squad and I like wearing beautiful clothes, is because it's just a reflection of my creativity.
Yes, and I don't think it's ever about something of like showing off or proving something. I think it's just organically you, just you being you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you have money to do it, then it's a great thing.
So, money to do it. So me and you are friends. So I know about this idea of being stuck in kind of an almost life, which you were for a long time, even financially. Give me 2 steps that help you get unstuck from what I call an almost life. But first, let me say, as you know, almost means not quite, sort of, nearly. How did you get out of this almost life?
You know, I found myself at 23 years old working as an ER nurse. And I thought to myself, if I keep doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, in 5 years, am I going to be happy? And the answer was no. And I looked at all these people that were just a little bit older than me that had been doing that same thing. And I thought, if I had their life, I would be miserable. And so I knew right then that the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I knew my life had to change if I wanted a different outcome. And so I got into entrepreneurship when I was 23 and really went full force on creating this new version of Cayla. You know, before I had never made more than $60,000 a year. Yep. And I knew I wanted to have financial abundance. And so I said, okay, what does the Cayla that makes $1 million a year do? And how does she show up in this world? And so I started to take action that was in alignment with that person I wanted to be.
Okay. Well said. Tell them the name of your company, which is actually a movement, but it's not just in our country. This is a worldwide movement that's going to have tens of millions of people following it. What is the name of this movement?
It's called Mommy Millionaire. And really my mission is to impact 1 million women to make $1 million or more a year. And yes, we do that through a podcast, live event, and a mastermind.
Okay. So you're actually training people. Some of them are not millionaires yet.
No.
But if I was a woman, you want to get into my life, into my psyche, and help take me to that utmost place where I can make $1 million plus. Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me 2 things that I can do being a woman making over $1 million. Like, how could that benefit my life?
I mean, think about all of the things right now, all of you guys listening in and watching this. What are all of the things right now that you're saying no to in your life because you don't have the financial resources? You could probably come up with a whole slew of things, right? And I know that you can have anything you want in this life, all right? And everything that you have on the outside is a direct reflection of what you think you're worth on the inside, okay? Yeah. So the moment you increase your self-worth, your net worth increases. All right. It goes hand in hand. And so one day you just make a decision. It's very simple. You make a decision that I am no longer going to say no to the things that I want in my life. I am worth saying yes to all the things that I dream about. And so you start saying yes to things. You start seeing opportunity where before you saw nothing. And you just start deciding that, hey, I'm worth everything in this world, and you start to say no, and you start to create boundaries in your life that are in reflection with a poverty mindset. You don't want that. So you say no to things. Like, so I don't use words like I can't afford that. I would say something like, that's not in alignment with my budget right now.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, I really like it. So what you're doing is you are helping people to renew their minds into a different way of thinking that creates different patterns.
Yes.
Because we, as you know, I told you guys earlier, we're friends, and we both come from similar backgrounds where we're kind of stuck in an almost life we were common. So we almost had to reprogram ourselves, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Was that a difficult thing for you, or how did that go for you to start thinking positive, speaking positive words?
It was very weird, but I was raised by, I was raised in the church. And one thing I knew is that my mom, she was always like kind of on the far side of things where it'd be like, don't even say out loud that you're sick. But
Yeah.
she raised me to always believe that my thoughts were powerful and my words were powerful. And so I finally caught, a hold of that when I was 23 and said, hey, if that's true, then I can create anything I want in this life. Instead of focusing on the negative things, I need to, speak out loud the positive things. But it didn't happen overnight. And I still, to this day, catch myself, wanting to revert back to that negative thinking when, a trigger happens. And because now I have so many tools in my tool belt, I'm able to get over things much quicker and step into that big utmost life, right? But it takes time. I've been on this journey for 8 years now, and that's what it is. It's a journey. And so it's not easy, but one thing that makes it easier is surrounding yourself with mentors, listening into Tim's videos, listening to my podcast, the Mommy Millionaire podcast, and becoming friends with people that are on that mission of having an utmost life as well, right?
Yes. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so the last couple of years, we just keep seeing you rise. Even before we met each other, I was watching you rise. Did you think it was going to happen like this? Had you already kind of seen it manifesting in the future? How did you see the last few years happening?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was going to happen like this, but I always knew I was going to have a big life. I just didn't know it was going to look like this. And I actually just posted a story on Instagram about this last night because, my goal years ago was to be the chief nursing officer of a hospital. I wanted to have a big impact on people. And what I do now is I'm having a way bigger impact, and it's huge positive things that are happening in my life. And I always knew that was going to happen. I always was I remember being 8 years old and thinking I was going to be this big, huge lawyer one day and make sure every single mom got child support.
Yeah.
And I just saw myself as powerful, even being 8 years old and having nothing and being very poverty stricken then. I knew I was going to come out of that. And I think you always have to see yourself having something before you have it. You have to believe it like it's happening. I was so convicted that I was going to have a big life and have massive impact on this world. And don't get married to the fact of how that's going to happen. Just see the end goal in mind and focus in on that constantly, and the how reveals itself.
Okay, so we have to stop there for a second because it's so powerful what you just said. Don't get married to how, because as you know, as well as me, or maybe better, people get really caught up with how it's going to take place, the pattern. I got to meet all those people, then it's going to happen. But tell me how sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Just a couple years ago, I thought I was going to be this top network marketing trainer, because I was very good at speaking and I had a way of educating people that got them to take action. That's my number one skill in life, is getting people to believe in themselves. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I was going to do that. And so I was doing all this work and practicing and getting better. And then that ended up completely flopping and not working out for me. And then this big, huge opportunity opened up for me to start Mommy Millionaire. And that's how it happened. So if I would have been so stuck on that other route, I'd probably still be banging on a dead door that's never going to open. And instead, I just said, I'm going to trust God and trust the process, knowing that there's something better for me.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we're talking to Cayla Kraft. She is a leader of the Mommy Millionaire, which is a movement. It is a movement. And what I love, I see you doing this in Mexico, Spain, Sweden, Singapore. Do you see the worldwide vision?
Oh, heck yeah. Australia, UK, I see it everywhere.
How do you feel about traveling? You okay with all that?
Yeah, I love traveling. I'll bring my 3 kids with me.
Okay, see, that's the next place I was going to go. Teach me about being an entrepreneur like yourself. It's like you see the lady that created Spanx.
Yes.
I bet when she first put him on the first time, I mean, it didn't look like she was going to be the lady that made all that money, right, from that program. Because, you know, the Bible says, despise not small beginnings, but now she just has exploded. So how can you balance 3 kids, a really cool husband who's my buddy, a gigantic house that you have, an empire that you're running? How are we going to balance all this, Cayla?
Well, I think balance is a myth. I really do. I feel like you can have it all as long as you don't succumb to the pressure of making it look like picture perfect.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always about the non-negotiables that I have in place. And so my faith is my number one non-negotiable. I spend time with the Lord every single day.
You do.
My family is a non-negotiable, but I actually have to schedule in time with my kids, because if I don't put it in like my calendar, I will fill it up with work. And so I have it at 3:30 on, my whole calendar is booked to be with my kids. And I make it that way. So that way, when I'm with them, I'm with them. And
Yeah.
that's what I think gets people messed up, is that they're trying to multitask and they're trying to do 10 things at once. And you're never going to feel in alignment or happy if you're doing all those things and not in the present moment. And so I really try to be right now, when I'm here with Tim, I'm thinking about Tim. I'm thinking about making an impact on the world shakers. And
Yes.
then I move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And so that's what people need to do, is just focus in on the present moment, commit to your non-negotiables, and just don't worry about what your neighbors are doing.
Okay,
You know?
because you are super, super focused. You are in the moment, fully present, fully feeling, and fully alive. Okay. So how can you help us? Okay. Because what most people have is they have the desire, but they don't have the discipline. And so therefore they don't have the delight. So it starts with desire, then you have to have the discipline, then you have to have the delight. So how can you help us? Books, podcasts, tell us how you can help us.
Okay. Yeah. So I have the Mommy Millionaire podcast, and we talk a ton on there about money mindset, because I see so many people struggling financially, and I think everybody could live abundant lives. And so you could listen into that to change your mindset. And then I have a book called The Habit of Leading Yourself. And
Yes.
it's a 1-year guide to becoming unstoppable. So every week I give you a new habit to implement into your life. And I just truly believe that we're either a slave to our bad habits or we're a slave to our good habits. And
100%.
so, yep,
100%.
I wanted to give people that, that to know the right habits. And then I'm on social media. I'm all over Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name
All over.
it. I'm on there. I just want people, anytime that you see my face, I want you to feel empowered. I don't want you to feel disempowered. I want you to look at me and say, hey, if she can be having everything she wants in her life, I can too.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to go on a couple more questions, but tell us how to find you.
Yeah. So on Instagram, it's Cayla.craft, and it's Cayla.craft. And then you can also check out mommymillionaire.co. And I have a ton of free resources and courses on there that you guys can plug into, plus links to the podcast.
Okay. So what's coming up? I know you have some events coming up. Can you tell us about those?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we have Mommy Millionaire Live. That's in October in Scottsdale, Arizona. And if you're not a mom, you can still come. You just have to be a woman to attend. And it's an all women's event. And I named it the #1 event to be at in 2019 because of the strategy you're going to gain, the tribe that you're going to bring into your life.
Yes.
And I just know every event that I go to, it changes my life. I've gone to Tim's events, and every time I go, I feel uplifted. I feel refreshed, ready to take on the world. And that's exactly what, this event's going to do for you. But you're actually every speaker gets off stage and works with you on your business. So it really changes the game.
Yes. So that's awesome. And so there's still availability for that?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that we can sign up for?
Well, I'm going to be launching a membership program in July.
Okay.
So that'll be life-changing because I give you everything that I know when I talk about sales, marketing, confidence, fashion. It's seriously everything Cayla Kraft is going to be in that membership group, and it's going to help you go to the next level in your life constantly.
Okay. 2 more questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right, number one, do you ever feel guilty for having the success that you're now having? Because, you know, when you're like raised around people that they were kind of like stuck in a, you know, almost life, do you feel guilty at all? And what do you do with the people that are trying to like pull you back down to where you used to be?
Mhm. You know what? Years ago, I did feel guilty because I thought I had to take care of everybody, and I thought, you know, I was just going to give all of my money to all of those people. And what I realized is you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
Okay, and so people have to want to change. And I know now that I can't take every single person that was with me in the beginning of my life on this next journey of my life, because God has big plans for my life. And so I need to be around the people that are the world changers that are going to help me and uplift me constantly. And so I don't allow myself to feel guilty ever. Everybody has the same amount of opportunity. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. And I just stay focused on what I'm doing and who I'm impacting. I don't have time to think about and feel sorry for the people that don't want it and that talk bad about me. I just don't even think about them. I don't entertain those thoughts whatsoever.
Okay, when I'm interviewing you on my talk show, probably like CNN, because I'll probably be taking over like the Larry King type of show.
So
And
awesome.
I'm talking to you in 2 years. What does your life look like? Are you doing TV shows? Because you obviously have a TV presence, TV way. Are you on Sirius XM? Are you doing podcasts? Are you doing gigantic masterminds? Are you the president of France? 2 years down the line, think about this so first, because I'm going to tell you, Kayla, where I saw myself, it's the weirdest thing. I was actually there. And I remember the first time Oprah Winfrey interviewed me, when I was walking across the bridge to hug her for the first time for that particular interview. It was deja vu, because I had pictured it and then now it was happening, okay? So you're on my show on some network, 2 years down the line. Give me 3 things that you're doing. Final question.
Only 3 things? All right. So I for sure have my own TV show that's,
I know that. There's no doubt about it.
yeah, that's completely focused on people having profitable businesses. And the second thing I'm doing is I definitely am making at least $30 million a year. And
And she's really not joking when she says it. And you're so focused that it's really happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'll have a net worth of at least 100 million by then.
Yes.
So that's where I see myself financially. And third, I see my kids actually being a part of Mommy Millionaire in some way, shape, or form. I see them helping people actually in their businesses and helping their kids. I see my kids being a much bigger part of it, even though they're 8, 6, and 4. So they'll be 10, 8, and 6 by that time. They're already little entrepreneurs, and I want them to be a part of the impact. So.
Okay. So I'm talking to Cayla Kraft, and without a doubt, you are the top in your field. And I'm trying to get you on a tour that I'm doing with some very powerful men. We need a woman who just gets things done, and you're the woman. So I'm super, super proud of you. And life feels good. Doesn't life feel good?
Life is exciting.
Yes. Okay, so where did you learn to be such a good dancer?
I'm not a good dancer. I feel like I just like to have
I don't know
fun.
about that. I've seen footage.
Okay, so for me, I just love, like, I'm very focused on my life, like being successful, but a part of that success means having fun to me. And I just love to belly laugh. So I will just dance to make myself laugh. And I know anytime I'm having like a funky mood or something, if I dance, if I sing, if I do jumping jacks, it changes my state and I'm smiling again and I'm focused on all the good things that are happening in my life instead of the negative things. And so we have dance parties all the time.
I watch. I follow you on Instagram. You're dancing nonstop. All right, Cayla Kraft. Follow her. One more time. How do they find you?
Okay, you guys, the best place to go is on Instagram, and it's Cayla.Kraft over there.
And rumor has it that maybe me and you will do some things, and you might bring me in your world, at least for one day or one night. But we'll talk about that later.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Thanks for your time. Life is good.